Hello guys and welcome to my 2025 Winter Split LEC tier list. Remember, this is my opinion and opinions are like assholes. We all have one. Now you can leave your opinions down in the comments, but leave the assholes out. Let's get into it. Team Vitality. They had Photon. Now they've got Nako from the Academy. Linces to Linces. Vitio to Chayek. Karzi to Karzi. Hylissang to Hylissang. Alright, so they've basically just swapped out their top part of the map, which might just end up being the more important, depending on what every time the meta is. If it's like a bot-centric meta or a top side of the meta, changing like half your map basically really creates a different dynamic in the team. I feel like Chayek was overdue a try in the LEC. I remember this guy from even like 2 years ago, over when I was casting, before EMEA Masters was called EMEA Masters and was called EU Masters. Like, this guy has like, he's like a mean control mage player. Here's my problem with Vitality. I feel like Vitality lacks a big voice, and that big voice can't always be Hylissang. Like, you cannot have one player literally guide you from the very beginning of the game until the very end of the game. I feel like this will burn the player out. This will cause bad decision making because you're constantly thinking of what the next move is. Teams that work really well separate the shot calling throughout the game. I think G2 does that as well very well. I think they had at least the previous two G2, Mickey was shot calling, Broken Blade was shot calling, and Caps was shot calling. And they were like separating it depending on the game or like depending on the stage, depending on who was fed, yada yada yada. So I feel like this is a pretty good balance to sort of take a lot of the baggage off of a person and also make sure that your team is actually capable of calling when they're ahead, when they're seeing a play, when they're making a play, yada yada. I want Team Vitality to prove me wrong. I really fucking do. And I think Karzi had a fucking monster year. But you're bringing in two new rookies, and this is always a flip, right? They've got incredible coaching staff behind them, Mac and Pad. So these guys are really good at developing talent, but until then, okay, I'm gonna put them in C. Okay, I'm not gonna be too harsh. I'm gonna put them in C until they prove me wrong. All right, Team Heretics. Team Heretics. Big hype from Team Heretics. All the Spanish fans are in. 3.7k likes. Everyone loves this. Carlson! If you don't know about Carlson, oh my fucking days. 2022 NLC studio with the gang in person. Carlson was playing back then in Astralis. The dude has more of a carry-oriented potential in him. A lot of top laners who play in ERLs and they're playing their Rivens and their Camilles and their Renekton's and all those aggro champions, they get neutered once they get into the LEC. They will fail on playing those champions a couple of times, and then they'll be put on Ornn and Sion duty. I feel like Shio was a great performing piece last year for BDS. He was one of the more dependable units. This is not TFT. He was one of the more dependable players in BDS. So I do like Shio, and I do think that this guy has grown into a shot caller. I don't know Camilo. I don't know much about this guy. He's technically replacing another rookie. Zvero came in as a rookie. Camilo is a rookie. So we'll see what's happening there. Flackhead, very stable piece. Stand, also 2022 NLC in the studio. This guy is really fucking good. He's a roamer and he's a shot caller. I feel like Team Heretics having 3 rookies in the team, Carlson, Camilo, and Stand, they're gonna need people with voices. And the fact that Shio was able to step up in BDS, and then you get Stand as well, who is an actual natural shot caller in a team, is going to be good for Team Heretics. Again, splitting responsibilities. I'm gonna put them in C tier for now, for one reason. Because I haven't necessarily formed an opinion about how good the other teams at the top are. So in the end, we're just gonna like readjust. Team BDS. Oh, spicy. From Adam to Irrelevant. Irrelevant, one of the best top laners in 2024 as a whole. If I may, I think he was probably the second best top laner behind Broken Blade. He does have star quality in him, and he does have carry potential in him. From Shio to 113. 113 as a player, I feel like he is kind of the cock to the wall. Caulk with C-A-U-L-K, by the way, not C-O-C-K. I feel like he suits every meta. He is more of the Viego type of player, but he won't shy away from playing the Skarners as well. So I feel like he's fine. Nuke had a pretty good year. I know that a lot of people hated on Nuke. I feel like he's grown massively as a player. And we keep hitting on teams, taking players, trying to develop them, and then dropping them halfway. BDS has been a team that has really believed in Nuke. And honestly, split after split after split after split, Nuke has been showing up more and more and more. Even if it's like tiny bits, individually, he's been showing up. I enjoyed Ice a lot. I think the guy popped off. Ever since I cast that Wildcats finals at India Masters, I think it was 2023 spring, Paris was one of the best supports I had seen in Europe, full stop, including LEC. He was so clever about the map. He was so fast in his movements. He was incredible in laning phase. Like, this guy deserved LEC in 2023. I think he's going to be an incredible match with Ice, and I think he's going to be an incredible match in general for the whole map. I don't know if Team BDS are going to be the first team in Tier A, but I think they're going to be a really fucking good team. SK Gaming, from Irrelevant to Genax. Didn't Irrelevant replace Genax? I think he's grown immensely through his ERL's journey, and I've talked to him personally as well, and he's always somebody that just strives to be better as an individual. Isma did okay. He had his pop-off moments. He had his meh moments. I think Isma was okay. Reeker, when he joined with Mad Lions, got absolutely fucking roasted. And in 2024 spring, he had an insane EMEA Masters appearance. As if it was his redemption arc. And maybe this is. From what I've realized in general, when they're bringing an AD carry that's Korean or a support that's Korean, they kind of like to pair them up together. So first, they have a friend, and two, the communication is a little bit easier since he's bot lane. Oh, hold up. They're literally bringing him the support that they won LCKCL with in 2023 spring. Okay, I think SK Gaming I will put in B tier until they show me that they're not a regular split team. Yes, yes. I don't know where else to clap. My boy is back. The only time single-handedly that Rogue was not boring was when Balrog was playing for them. This guy breathed life into a team. The ganks, the early game aggression. Adam, I really like this. You know why? Because Adam is actually active. How many times do you see Adam level 2 and level 3 gank mid? He'll shove his wave, roam mid. Shove his wave, roam mid. Adam's madness in the early game, plus Malrang's madness in the early game. Larson waking up because of this as well. I'm very excited. Okay, I don't know who execute is. Hold on. Wait. It's John Hoon! Oh my god, this rogue's about to pop off or what? Okay, I like this rogue. Psychopath jungler, Pyke support, Adam roaming mid lane, level 2 and level 3. I like it. I like it. Maybe this will be the most active rogue we've ever seen in our lives, okay? There. I'm actually so fucking excited for this split from Movistar Koi. The only one they swapped around was from Fresh to Jojopion. Movistar is such like a group motivated team where they're like ballsy and they have confidence, and I feel like Jojopion has that. Where do we put them? I think I'm actually gonna put them in A tier. Do I put them above BDS or behind BDS? Okay, maybe above BDS. KC. What did Georgia tell you last year when Kalish shows up for Karmine Core? They win EMEA Masters. And then Georgia says, this guy is going to be on the LEC split next year, as in 2024. And what happened in 2024? LEC gets a different sponsoring rule, which now means that players below 18 years old will not be able to join LEC teams. And the dude was 17 at the time. Once he's of age, though, what did I tell you? No matter who the AD carry for Karmine Core is, Kalish is going to take their spot. And there he is. And I'm very excited about this guy because he looked so fucking promising. I'm also happy he's joining with Targamas because it's someone that's very familiar, not only for the org, but also the player. I feel like a lot of the mid laners spoke very highly of Vladi in terms of how he's giving them a run for their money every time in the mid lane. And I feel like through development, and if KC really does believe in him and see him, which they do because they kept him in the roster, I'm excited to see that. Yike, you guys know I have a soft spot for Yike. I'm honestly sad to let go of him just because he had one very bad split. Not even very bad split. He had a very meh split. I feel like Yike is going to be a great fit for the team. Kana did good as well. So I feel like Karmine Core are going to be a pretty good contender. Now, I don't know how high they can reach. I think the addition of Yike right there is definitely going to help. I'm going to pop them in B tier above SK. only because I want to see the results first. This is my opinion. No one can tell you realistically 100% how these teams are going to perform. Because even if you're an insider and you know what's going on in scrims, guess what, buddy? Scrims don't show fuck all of how teams are going to perform on stage, right? Giant X, the Antonio to Lot, from Yuhan to Closer, Closer from KC to Giant X, from Patrick to Noah and Ignar to Jun. So they took the Fnatic bot lane, which is pretty promising. I think he's a good pair with Jun, and if they do want to stick together, I think it's great that Giant X took them together. Definitely think it's a stronger contender of a team than last year's Giant X. However, historically speaking, Giant X doesn't necessarily perform that well. I think I'm gonna put them D tier. G2 and Fnatic. Okay, here we go. The ugly truth is gonna be coming out of my mouth. All right, so the only changes for G2 Esports were from Yike to Skewmond and from Mickey X to Labrov. G2 has this thing where they love winning. They are the kings of Europe. They want to win. They always want to win. And that is their objective number one. A lot of the changes that sometimes G2 does are not necessarily performance-based. Always. I believe that Yike and Skewmond are very similar. Like when Yike joined G2, I think it was very similar to Skewmond and what he does right now. So do I think Skewmond is a great player? Yeah, I do. I cast him. I didn't I saw what he can do. From Mickey X to Labrov, I kind of also think they're sort of the same player. They like to play the map. So I feel like G2 Esports said, hey, you know we have Yike and Mickey X? What if we get Yike and Mickey X with different names? I don't necessarily think they're downgrades or upgrades. Now, of course, there's going to be a bonding period, which I'm going to be honest with you, G2 seems to be the only team that seems to breeze past bonding periods, especially when like Yike came in and they reformed the whole roster as well. However, I'm not going to put them on S tier. They're above everyone else, but they're A tier. Fnatic, literally the same except for the bot lane. Upset and Mickey X. I really hope with how much Mickey X does control a lot of the calls and a lot of the early game, a lot of the movements on the map, Razor gets to roam a little bit more free. Upset has no beef with Fnatic returns together with Mickey X. I think they're going to be a great pair. The rest of the team has remained the same. The rest of the team was pretty solid. Oscarinin has grown so much. I think Humanoid had a pretty good year as well, and Razork is like Razork. He was borderline the best jungler in EU, like through the entire year. I'm going to put them right here. I don't know if they're going to be over G2, behind G2. Again, there are factors that you just cannot calculate in. There's a bunch of rookies joining. You've got Skewmond on G2, then you have Upset and Mickey X. Don't know how they're going to work around playing with the rest of the map. So let me see if I'm going to move anything around. I feel like this is pretty solid so far. Yeah, maybe like that. This is my tier list for LEC 2025. Again, no hate to any of these teams or players. This is simply my opinion. Opinions exist out there to be different, so it's not boring. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to be civil in the comment section down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.